In most of the world, you're told that it takes 12 years of school, plus 4 years of college, plus a $1 trillion degree just to become smart. But let's be honest, for many, the only thing you become after all that is a debt collector's favorite contact. If you haven't guessed by the title, becoming smart is way easier than you think. And it doesn't require a $1 trillion degree or some secret study method locked behind a $997 course. Even if you think your genetics made you built different in a bad way, relax. This has nothing to do with genetics. If intelligence were about genetics alone, half the internet wouldn't exist. When we say we want to be smart, we usually mean three things. We want to learn skills that make money, we want to solve problems without losing our minds, and we want to sound smart in conversation just enough to get respect, but not so much that people think we're a nerd. The problem is that most advice on the internet is so vague and philosophical that it's basically useless for normal people. If you look for specific tips, you get told to eat blueberries, take cold showers, and listen to classical music. Those sound nice, but at some point you actually have to, learn stuff. And if this already makes more sense than most advice you've heard, yeah, this is Build Slowly. You should probably subscribe. In this video, I'm going to show you how intelligence actually works, why most advice is useless, and how you can start getting smarter without pretending to love studying or waking up at 5 a.m. Step 1. How to sound smart without being annoying. The first step to being smart is knowing how to talk about what you know. Most people who read a nonfiction book become obnoxious. They wait for someone to mention evolution just so they can jump in with, well, actually, evolution is nonlinear. While that is considered polite by the standards of a YouTube comment section, but in real life it makes you instantly unlikable. Instead of proving someone wrong, you teach them what you know without making them feel dumb. For example, it is crazy, right? I was reading the other day, and apparently humans and chimps evolved side by side. This way, people actually learn from you, which makes them see you as smart and respectable rather than a human Wikipedia reskin. Step 2. The 20/80 learning curve. If you want to master a skill, you need to understand the learning curve. This is a graph of how good you get at a skill over time. You'll notice that you only need to know about 20% of the knowledge to master 80% of the skill. Most people get stuck in tutorial hell because they think they need to know 100% before they start. But no one ever learned how to tie a tie by just watching a video on how to tie a tie. You only learn by watching the video while actually tying the tie. Unless you practice the skill, your brain will think the information is useless and delete it to make room for more frog facts or cat memes. Step 3. Finding S-tier resources. Now, how do you actually find stuff worth learning? You don't need to read the same 5 hustle culture books everyone pretends change their life. Just pick a topic you're genuinely curious about, let's say pressure washing, personal finance, or how computers actually work, and search for textbooks or structured guides on it. Textbooks are elite because they don't care if you're bored. There's no fluff, no motivational speeches, no fake productivity stories. Just clear explanations, examples, and practice questions that force your brain to do something. They're literally designed to take someone from zero to competent as efficiently as possible, which is why schools use them, and also why most people avoid them. That discomfort, that's where the progress is. Step 4. The spike method. To actually seem smart and interesting, you should use the spike method. This is a trick used by students to get into Harvard University. Instead of being well-rounded, which is just a fancy word for being mediocre at everything, you become better than 99% of people at one obscure thing. If you spend just 1 month becoming an expert in something niche like competitive knitting or budgeting money as a student, you are no longer a boring NPC. You are now the budgeting expert. That spike gives you instant credibility, and now people will listen to you because you have a unique perspective. Step 5. Tricking your brain into remembering. Your brain is lazy. It won't remember anything unless it thinks it's a matter of life or death. This is why the entire school system uses tests. They create an imaginary situation where the information is useful for 60 minutes so you don't fail. If you don't have a test, you have to create high stakes in your head. Pretend you're hanging off a cliff by one arm, and the only way someone will pull you up is if you can correctly name all the parts of a human cell. Or imagine you're in a high-stakes scenario where you need to jumpstart a dead car in the middle of a desert. By imagining the whole process from start to finish, you convince your brain that you actually use the information, and now you'll remember it forever. Becoming smart isn't about how many years you sat in a classroom. It's about learning useful things and making your brain believe they matter. If this helped, drop a fire emoji in the comment section so the algorithm doesn't ignore us. And share this with a friend who definitely needs it, but won't admit it. But before you do that, I'm collecting donations in the form of subscribes to fund the next video, so subscribe. And I'll see you in the next one.